Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am KRX, and we are going to be looking at the most recently completed city on the Twitch channel, the Desert City. So I'm pretty happy with this city overall. 120,000 population, 88 to 89% traffic flow. But with this city, a lot of the times when we make a city, we just use the stuff that comes with the game, right? Pretty basic, and we try to make that look good. And I think we've done a good job at that, especially recently. We've gotten better and better and better at doing that. With this city, though, if you have a really keen eye, you might be able to notice that there's some things going on here that definitely don't come with the game or the DLCs, right? There's some additional assets. We've downloaded about 700 to 800 assets to be able to kind of like give the city more character and to use the desert theme to inspire us to do some interesting areas that kind of you might think of when you think of sort of a desert town. And one thing that you totally wouldn't think of when you think of a desert town is a forestry area. So we have this forestry area right here. I just kind of wanted, I wanted some justification for these houses that I wanted to put in here, which are the chalets. And I was thinking like, oh, some like cabins in the hills or something, sort of like, I think some areas in Arizona, New Mexico, higher elevation areas have some of these sort of arid pine forests and things like that. So I wanted to put some of these in. I don't really like how we did this. We're just going to kind of move over this, but that's what's going on over here is some sort of like vacation cabins and some forestry out in the pine forest that maybe doesn't make any sense, but there you go. Then as we're coming in, let's just kind of skip to the bulk of the city here, which is this boomerang right here. Bunch of low density right here. You can see that we are using the realistic population mod. What that's effectively doing, it's rebalancing the ratio between low density and high density, because the low density you need to build more of it to get the same change in population. High density you need to build less of it to get a similar change in population than in the base game. So there's a, like, you can see the high density is very sort of sprinkled around. It's very dolloped around, whereas the low density is just sprawling neighborhoods, which I think fits with the thematics of, you know, an actual city. So it kind of makes the city look a little bit nicer. But that's kind of what we're calling the boomerang, this main sort of boomerang area around this main street bend. This is a little agricultural area here, kind of inspired by crop circles in its circular design, but also using these canals to kind of like pretend that these are like irrigation canals or something. A little bit goofy, but kind of cool. We have the campus over here, nothing too fancy here, just kind of a tech college that we dumped down just so people could get educated and we can make a bunch of money off that. I'm sure that's making us hundreds of thousands of bucks. Our original industry out here, we do have public transit and cargo trains for all the different industrial areas. And then public transit that goes around, public trains that go around the city, basically one giant loop, clockwise and counterclockwise. It's one track, but we have lines that are set to go clockwise and counterclockwise. You can see trains here going both directions. I don't know why we have these both yellow, though. We probably should have made one a different color, but there you go. And then we have monorail. You can kind of see just quickly, you can kind of see the monorail's kind of cutting the city in half, whereas the train goes around, the monorail kind of cuts things in half, or sort of just ties in sort of like different edges and things in different ways and stuff. Moving over here, we have this nice little golf course area. I think we did a really fantastic job on this. We did one golf course like a year ago in the Chatscade, but this one's way bigger and way better. This is 18 holes. The other one was 9. So this is hole number 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Kind of comes over here, and then this is the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th hole. Puts you right back at the clubhouse. Some practice greens down here. This is meant to be kind of a posh kind of a neighborhood in this sort of golfing sort of area community. Maybe vacation homes and stuff there too. Hotels and leisure and stuff out here, sort of at a big tourism type section in between the golf course and the world famous nature reserve here. So this is kind of a big nature reserve that sort of goes along this sort of reservoir and these different sort of like lakes and things like that. Some of these are actually like little dried up lakes that have been converted into campsites and stuff. I think we did a pretty good job on our big giant nature park that goes around here. It sort of shares the lake with, and it's kind of split by the monorail, shares the lake with the golf course. I think it's kind of a neat dynamic there. So of course we have a civilian airfield, first modular airfield we've ever built on the channel. Not particularly incredible, but I think it's kind of cool, you know, putting up the taxiways and the runways and setting those up in a custom way and stuff, and having sort of like maybe kind of a more iconic kind of like sort of loop airport sort of design, road network design and stuff, and just kind of doing something that's maybe a little bit kind of airport, I don't know, just doing our best with it. Like I said, we've never done anything like that before. And that ties right in to this tourism area. So tourists can come to the city that way. And there you go. Spinning around over here, we have kind of actually, we're going to skip a little bit of this really quick. Take a look at this. This is kind of a nice little high density area. Very basic, but I like it. And it kind of ties into the theme park, which I think is kind of cool. I like how the theme park kind of moves. I know the planes do some goofy stuff on this map because we have a lot of different airfields and they kind of wig out. But I like how the theme park sort of stretches across the river. And I just like the use of the natural terrain here that we did. So we didn't actually terraform any of this. This is just playing to the terrain and just kind of going with the flow. I think we did a good job on that theme park. Over here we have a little shanty town, sort of in the poor side of town. This is kind of like the poor side of town. Some dirty, low-level dirty industry. The shanty town there into a big scrapyard, which I think we did a pretty good job on this. These buildings look a bit goofy, but there you go. We just dumped some stuff down in there, and I think we kind of we got the gist of it. But over here we have the decommissioned airfield. Man, this place in its heyday, who knows what it would have been like back in its heyday, right? I know, right? Anyways, part of the story, decommissioned airfield here, and we have sort of a boneyard of planes and stuff as well. So I think that's kind of neat. This is sort of like probably our main downtown area. We kind of wanted to come in with vegetation and stuff. We never quite did. We also had plans to do more pedestrian infrastructure, but to be honest, my computer is not enjoying this city. The computer is literally at its brink. But I think we have a cool little park here, interesting shape, kind of filling the space. Some different sort of commercial areas, big offices here, custom-made offices. We used existing assets in the game, and then we sort of combined them fused them together to create some interesting little effects. So I think those look kind of cool. These are all functioning perfectly fine. We're using a mod called No Zone Check. That's what's allowing us to build these and kind of like just jam them together and stuff like that. So it's no abandonment and no zone check, although those wouldn't be abandoned. So just some, because they're functioning perfectly fine. They're close enough to the road that they're getting credit for it. Then we have some just sort of low density, kind of just filling up this this is kind of probably a higher end area, nicer homes and things like that sort of tucked there. Here we have, we can see a lot of traffic here actually in our casino strip. It's very popular, and we're gonna have to check this out at night. But yeah, I think we did a pretty good job at our little Vegas strip here. We got pools in here, we got parks, we got all kinds of luxuries and unique buildings, and of course the casinos and resorts, hotel, casino, and resorts. Over here we have the actual space base, which is kind of cool, sunken down in sort of almost like a crater or quarry kind of crater thing. We're gathering up rare minerals over here. We are building rockets and launching them into space. We're doing a lot of scientific research in these different buildings in here. This area, though, past this checkpoint, is actually a Mars prototype base. So this is essentially part of our Mars colonization research. So we're effectively just using this to, using these different domes and stuff to sort of try different technologies and to sort of go through the idea of colonizing Mars and what it would take, and just sort of just demonstrating different technologies and doing different research and stuff like that. We have some arrays up here and stuff. So I think the space base is actually pretty cool. We'll take a look at that at night, though. Let's swing over here to the last interesting part of the city. Actually, there's a couple things going on. Quickly, Easter egg over here. We have our little, I guess we're calling this Breaking Naughty. I don't know why, but this is our little Breaking Bad area, our little Easter egg on the map. So sort of a little area, two camp chairs next to a fire with a big truck and a bunch of barrels of chemicals and a shed and all this other stuff. So that's our little Jesse Pinkman and Walter White situation going on out there. Over here, though, is Area 15, obviously named after Area 51, but this is Area 15. And, so there's some security clearance coming into here. It involves a atomic research area and nuclear power plant, atomic research, atomic bomb development, stuff like that. We have a refugee camp. That'll kind of be explained in a second. This is the actual military base, and we are currently mobilizing and militarizing this region because we do have alien contact in the region. So this is a big quarantine site. This was a city, a small town that used to live out here that we ended up dropping an atomic bomb on to sort of suppress and push back the alien invaders. So we have sort of this wormhole gate, this Stargate thing here. We're poised. It's been deactivated since the dropping of the atomic bomb, but you can see that it is very much intact. So it's deactivated but not destroyed, and we don't know what that means. So we're kind of just poised here for whatever's going to happen there, and that's sort of what's caused a lot of this extra mobilization and militarization of the region. Refugee camp for the people that got displaced. Big giant quarantine site over here, of course, like I was talking about. This is mostly for housing for the servicemen and servicewomen in the area. We're frantically building more barracks, but you can see a lot of people are just currently living in tents as we try to get more and more troops into the region. We have storage of more barracks and storage over here for different munitions and tanks and vehicles and other sort of things over here. Oil trucks, tanks, Humvees. We have actual fallout sites and shelters and vaults and things like that. And we do have nuclear missiles that are prime and ready to launch if there is additional alien activity at a moment's notice. We also have a very active and bustling airfield over here as well, where we have fighters, warthogs, we have spy planes, we have the cargo planes working around the clock to get in supplies and also ship out alien technology and stuff that we've been able to research and new technologies that we're developing in these factories and stuff like that. Sort of a helicopter little takeoff point over here. Hospital, field hospitals, and other sort of emergency services and stuff like that. So that's our Area 51. I think it's kind of cool. I think we did some really cool, clever, unique things in this city. It's pretty neat little city. I think we did a really good job on this city. Let's take a look at it at night, though. Actually, I'll give you guys the traffic blurb really quick. 88%. I think that's what I said. 88. It flickers 88, 89. The casino area is actually a lot of traffic that we just added. So before that, it was like, there we go, 89. Booyah. Let's stop looking at that now. And then we also have the 120,000 pop down here. So let's use Ultimate Eye Candy to get this to nighttime. I think we have a fantastic looking city at night. You can really see sort of this boomerang sort of design here, which wasn't intentional. It just kind of happened that way. I really like these sharp 45-degree angles and stuff as well going on here. I think this part of the city looks really good at night, just naturally. I think the casino strip at night looks pretty fantastic as well. So we're going to have to kind of zoom in and take a look at that. And you can actually ride the monorail in first person through the casino strip, which is really, really neat too. So that's kind of cool. And then the last thing to take a look at is the domes. Because these things, we put some lights in here to actually light them up at night. We can actually see that we've actually populated the inside of the domes. We've populated here. We're actually growing plants, doing some research on that. Here we have different utilities like power and garbage and tanks and storage and stuff. And here we probably food storage and things as well. Here we have actual sort of living, sort of prototype living huts and domiciles and stuff. Here we have different buildings that could also be residential, but they could be offices or commercial buildings or workplaces or workstations and things like that. But I think this area actually turned out fantastically as well, this sort of space base. I think it looks quite nice. And yeah, guys, that is our city. That is the desert city that we put on, that we put together. We're going to be working on a new city here on the Twitch channel within the next few days. We'll be working on that. We just constantly work on new cities. We play City Skylines 3 to 4 days a week on the Twitch channel. And yeah, we're always working on new things and challenging ourselves and pushing things forward. But I think we did a really good job with the city, and I'm quite happy with it. It's the first time we did this higher detail, right? All of this stuff completely new for us. All of this stuff out here completely new for us, right? The golf course, the scrapyard, the boneyard, the custom airfields. I mean, we did so much. The casino strip using all these assets that we downloaded, fancy pools and stuff. All of that completely new for us. So that was exciting. Don't know what we're doing with the next city. Don't know. It's probably going to be archipelago of some kind, but there you go. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.